I'm kidding. It's privilege that one has actually gotten into the entrepreneurship space and created for themselves. I mean, you spoke of Airbnb and the work that you've done. Perhaps give a short intro of yourself and what you do, the company you've built, and the kind of work you're doing. And then I'll jump into Lebo on my right hand side, who is previously disadvantaged on my right from the township, but has also built privilege for himself. It's amazing how we can all be privileged.
Yes. Through knowledge, right? Learning the right thing.
Over to you.
Cool. So I'm the CEO of Oliver Investments. I've had zero private equity or investment into my business. It's all self-made. I started out with buy-to-let, then multi-let properties, and now I do Airbnbs. So I do rental arbitrage within Airbnbs, which helps accelerate my finances to then purchase more multi-let and student accommodation. And then I also give back to the community. I also coach various people in financial literacy and starting their whole property journey and being able to start a property portfolio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. We joked earlier, we said this is the property GNU, but it's not John Stein hears it.
No.
Yeah, EFF. Welcome. On my right, I've got Lebu Grass, Lebu Rataga. Guys, that grass thing, it comes from the fact that it's a direct translation of her surname. But she's got another surname. She's got a couple of surnames. How many surnames do you have?
I've got 3.
You've got 3 surnames.
Yeah, it's Grass, Ratlach, and Kosa.
And Grass you gave yourself.
Yes.
Aha, it's called branding, eh? Because you can't say Rataga, say Rataga.
Yeah. Well, now I am sounding like John Searbader.
So it's better to just say that, so it's easier to remember, isn't it? Good branding tactic. Now, let's have a quick intro. I mean, of course, people have seen you on the platform before. And I think for me, when I think about you, I think about the fact that you got into property with a plan. I mean, you were 14 years old, you visited a teacher who had bought a property, a bonded property, and you were staying in a squatter camp. Having visited this teacher, you said to yourself, by the time I am 24, I want to live in my own house. And you did eventually achieve that goal at 24, 25. You were earning 5,000 rands in your first job, and you took a chance and bought a property where you were paying 2,500 rands for your bond.
50% of my income.
That's incredible. Guys, let's give her a round of applause. Can you tell us more? Give us a quick intro. How do you introduce yourself? He's the CEO of Oliver Investment. He's a property investor, Airbnb master. You wear a lot of caps, eh?
A lot of caps, yes.
Okay. My name is Levu Grass. I am a professional. I work for the government. And I'm also a founder of Level Grass Crips. At Level Grass Crips, we invest in property. I also use different strategies. My first strategy was house hack. Then I moved to buy to let, multi let, student accommodation, REITs, Airbnb, rent to rent. So those are the strategies and property wholesaling. So those are the strategies that I have tried out under the Level Grass Crips. I am also a property mentor. I mentor people into owning properties. I prefer, especially young moms, I always encourage them to invest in properties for themselves and also for their kids. So I started that initiative in 2020, whereby I started mentoring basically everyone to invest in property. And I also now co-founded BY Seminar with Percy Singo. The BY Seminar goes around the country teaching people about financial literacy, investing in property, and also people that want to start their own businesses and people that need to deal with their money traumas. So yeah, that's Lebo. I'm also an international speaker. I go around the country and outside the country, especially in SADC, teaching people about property investing and financial literacy. Basically, I love money because I feel that money gives you freedom to own your own time. So that's the reason I am translating all this information to the general public.
Thank you so much, and it is a pleasure to have you here. Dean, tell me something. what have been the challenges that you faced in building up your portfolio? You know, sometimes we talk about all these deals that we've done, but we rarely talk about the challenges that we experienced. And sometimes people assume that because you're not communicating what the challenges are, then there weren't any challenges. You know, so what are some of the challenges you've seen yourself face?
So, like fear and belief, I think if you hear certain things of how to create wealth or financial freedom, you're hearing people say it. But if you've never done it, there's always that self doubt. Can I actually do that? Will this actually change my life? Um, Anything in life, if you haven't at least done it, you don't know, right? It's that fear of the unknown. And I think when I started out and I heard the whole idea that you could purchase a property with a strategy and you could have cash left over every month and you could build on that. I thought that's rubbish. I thought you get a house or you get,
So that's
I
right.
thought that was rubbish.
Not all white people knew about property. Maybe let's demystify it, right? Whereby you heard that and you didn't hear it from your father or your grandfather.
No, from external sources.
You heard it from external sources. Was it a seminar? What was it?
Actually, it was YouTube, ironically. I think that's the modern thing. I saw a guy who lives in Cape Town, which is funny. I live in Cape Town now. A guy living in Cape Town who was buying properties where I grew up in the south of Joburg. Like, what does this oak know about my areas where I come from and buying properties? And I was like, okay, so he's buying properties, but sure, he must be running at a loss every property he's getting. This oak's going to be wealthy like 40 or 60 years from now. And he's like, he says in the YouTube video that, no, I make an extra 10,000 Rand off the expenses. I make an extra 15 or 20. I start adding it up and I check the figures and I'm like, wow, that actually makes sense. And I did my own research and I was like, shit, you can actually buy property in South Africa and you can actually make positive cash flow from first month
Yeah.
if the rent more than covers
But
expenses.
you thought it's rubbish.
I thought it was rubbish just because of fear of the unknown. I hadn't done it. Remember, we all taught we go out and get a job and then we eventually get a house, hopefully, and then we pay off the house our entire life. And we think that house we live in is an investment. And we get a nice car because a nice car shows wealth, according to, when you hear from other people. But owning a nice car is not wealth. That's poverty. You're paying off something that makes you no money, it depreciates at a rate of knots. But it's the mentality we all raised with our parents and upbringing.
Even white people.
Even white people, most people. But there's obviously families that are financially literate, right? But most families, it's a misconception. So the challenge was I had to go against the grain. I had to do the opposite of what my family was telling me what to do. And that's something